My life changed in the back of a taxi in Taipei, Taiwan. I was headed to a meeting. I asked the driver to slow down, so he went faster, of course. We were about to enter a huge, busy traffic circle. I saw the car, and I knew it would hit us right where I was. I dove to the floor behind the driver's seat. Somehow there was no accident, and as I laid on the floor, panting, my heart going boom, 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 I had an idea about cross-culture that changed my life. It's why I am talking to you right now. It was the summer of 1986. Hi, my name's Greg. I'm Canadian from Victoria. After a master's at UBC, I became an international student in Taiwan in January 1985. My plan was to learn the language and the culture, then go to Princeton for a PhD. Well, I never did the PhD, and to my surprise, I stayed in Taiwan for 14 years. I had the time of my life. However, I almost missed it. I almost didn't stay. After a year and a half, I was very frustrated. I just could not understand Chinese culture. I could do lots of easy things like being polite, table manners, ordering dinner, picking up 3 peanuts with chopsticks. But I had no idea why Chinese did what they did and how they did it. I was thinking of giving up when I had that fateful idea in a taxi. My idea was Chinese must have reasons for doing what they do and how they do it. And if I want to understand the Chinese, I need to know those reasons. Sounds simple, but it gave me a new way of looking, a new perspective that guided my understanding and the work that I did. I learned a new way of looking at culture. It's so powerful, it became my career. It's the best idea I've ever had, and I'm an ideas guy. My brain was on fire. I finally understood why I accepted 3 invitations to Chinese New Year's Eve dinner. It's explained in a later lesson, but if you can't wait, it's on my YouTube channel at Cross Culture Solutions. All the Chinese philosophy and history I'd read finally made sense. Once I figured out the goals of Chinese culture, I was no longer so frustrated. It was like I could see as Chinese saw. I still had lots to learn, but now I understood why things happened the way they did. It was like I was wearing Chinese glasses. I even used that for a title of a book I wrote for Westerners. My goal in this course is to give you a pair of Western glasses. Look, does the West make sense to you? I bet $1. A saying that means the person feels confident they are right, that you are puzzled and maybe even frustrated with parts of living in the West. You have my sympathy. Western culture, in my opinion, is the most difficult culture in the world to adapt to. Why? Well, because Western culture does things no other culture does. One example is that our education tries to teach students to think for themselves. Why do we do that? Teaching critical thinking is harder, longer, more expensive than teaching the right answers to memorize. Why do we bother? As parents, we teach our kids to be able to take care of themselves so they don't need us. Why? I'm now 70 and wish that my daughter had more of a help parents when they are old mindset. Too late now. The next few lessons explain the goal of Western culture, where it came from and how it shapes Western society. You also learn the same about Chinese culture, understanding the world's 2 most important cultures for the price of 1. Who doesn't like a bargain? You will be amazed at how different cultural goals create different, almost opposite societies. Most of the examples, stories, and lessons are based on my mistakes. I made lots. I teach by telling interesting, often entertaining stories with a point. The stories are mostly about what I learned from my mistakes. I also rely on examples that you can relate to. I don't offer many lists, and I do that on purpose. You don't learn from lists, you memorize them. Memorizing isn't learning. I can't teach you my ideas, knowledge, and skills. You have to learn it. You learn by thinking about it. There's almost nothing to memorize. My job is to help you learn. And I promise that if you try, if you think about it, you will learn and you will be happy you did. You will gain knowledge and skills that will help you be comfortable, confident, and successful in the West. Isn't that what you want? Before next lesson, I'd like you to write down 2 things you don't like about the West, 2 things you don't understand or don't want to do. I believe that the next few lessons will explain why these things are important to Westerners. Like I said about my taxi idea, once I understood why Chinese did what they did, everything else made sense and became much easier to accept or do. Well, that's it for now. Let's move on.